Yo guys, I apologize I haven't been posting updates about the case about Prelude. Because for the whole month of December, actually since Thanksgiving, I've been like this almost every day at work, and when I get home I just try to do what I can on the Prelude, and I don't have any time to edit right now, so sorry. I know y'all ain't gonna see this for a long time, but this is what I gotta deal with. So packed that even up here is packed. Yo guys, your boy just joined the big 3-2 gang. Hey, my girlfriend also got me this cool shirt. Yeah, to the anime that never ends, Attack on Titan. Well, it's been like 3 days since I last touched the Prelude, and I've been pretty busy, man. I'm running out of time. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know we've been super busy at work. Usually Thursdays and Fridays are my heaviest day at work, right? Well, on Thanksgiving, you know, Thanksgiving was on Thursday, we were closed. So when we went to work on Friday, I pretty much did 2 days of heavy work into one. Just to give you an idea, my normal heavy day is usually about 200, maybe 220 deliveries, right? That's a good amount of stops or deliveries. On Black Friday, I did 390 stops. That's almost double than my regular normal day, right? So my normal heavy day is about 200. Black Friday, I did 390. A lot of work, right? Well, this past Thursday, I had 410, which doesn't seem like much more, right? But there's only so many packages you can fit in your truck, man, before it just gets too hard to work with, right? Well, guess what? The day after, on Friday, guess how many stops I had? 450. I don't know how I did it, man. Since this is the busiest time of the year, I'm now working 6 days a week, so it's gonna be really hard to progress with the Prelude. Whew. But yo, I mean, by the time you guys see this video, it's probably like gonna be January, I don't know. I need to kind of speed up the process because if I didn't mention it, my lease is ending in January, early January. So I have about a month and 1 week left to get the Prelude running because I'm planning to move back to North Carolina. That's a 1,000-mile trip. And I don't think I'm gonna drive the Prelude, but I would like it to be running by the time I have to move. So yeah. But anyways, just wanted to vent a little bit because, man, past few days were really hard. But I think the rest of the month should be easier. It'll still be heavy, but it should be a lot easier. Well, all right, let's get back to the Prelude. A lot of parts came in that I've been waiting on so we could finish up the power steering setup. I'm gonna run AN lines to this power steering cooler. Very unnecessary because I had to buy so many freaking fittings to make it work. So this is an 8 AN hose, and I'm gonna convert it to a 6 AN hose. This is everything it's gonna take to convert a -8 to a -6. Back here at the power steering rack, we got the high side and low side. They're both going to the side of the chassis over there. Coming out over here towards the wheel well. That's the high side line. This is the return from the reservoir. From the reservoir, comes around here to the cooler and back up towards the steering rack. Whoops. And here's that unnecessary mod. -8 fitting to a union, to a reducer, and then to a -6 PTFE. Whatever, man. At least the power steering lines is completed. I still got to figure out the electrical side of the power steering and the brake lines, but I'll put that in another video where when we do the wire harness, ECU, and I guess the battery. So brake line's done, power steering line's done. Let's go ahead and do the cooling system and the fuel system. These old radiator holders. I'm gonna make some new ones later, but for now I'm just gonna use it just to hold it in place. I just use my biggest drill bit to drill a hole. You don't have to do the whole size because it's really big. This thing tightens all the way down and I can feel the O-ring getting squished. And I don't know if you can really see it, but there's actually some clearance between the sensor and the thermostat housing. So pretty much it's not bottoming out, and you can see now the bottom of the sensor has access to the coolant so it can read the temperature. Yeah. There we go. Radiator hose. We somehow got to go from here to over here. What do y'all think, guys? Looks like a nice smooth transition. Hey. All right, now we got the lower radiator hose nice and situated. We got the fan switch placement done. Now we got to figure out how to hook up the heater hose over here. But I'm assuming this one goes into here. This is gonna go straight to the cylinder head, which is like right here. And that one is gonna go all the way around to the thermostat, I believe. These are some weird sizes. They're not standard size pipes, so you can't use a standard fitting to convert this to an AN line. However, there is one company that does make a solution, and I got it right here. Boom. It's called DC5 Creations. So we get two fittings that are gonna go on the heater hose up here. So these fittings right here, you just unscrew them. Notice how it has an O-ring. Let me show you how this works. This should go right on here. Yep, just like that. The O-ring is what's gonna create the seal. Let me get the O-ring on there. Boom, okay. Because this isn't high pressure, it's just, you know, coolant. And then you just screw this on. And this is gonna convert it to a -10 AN hose. And there we go, that's it. Feels nice and snug. I just gotta tighten it more with the tool. This conversion is pretty unnecessary because most of the time these heater hoses are gonna be covered. But for now, since I'm gonna be all motor at the moment, you're gonna see these hoses and I just wanna make them look nice, and it's the perfect solution because it's gonna match everything else. So this is a K-tuned coolant housing, and it is a very nice looking product. It gives you more space pretty much, because look how bulky this thing is. This is more smaller. The reason why I have to use this instead of this is because you see this right here? This fitting can be replaced, and that's what DC5 Creations provides. They provide a special fitting right here that converts this tube to a -10. Kind of wish this was also the same material instead of black, but oh well. Woo. Wow, that looks super nice. But wait, there's more. We got this attachment. And then up here, we have a coolant filler neck. Boom. All right, so we already did the lower hose. Let's go and just do the upper hose. This is the old one I had. This is a RSX style hose. I wanted to pick this up because it's nice, shiny, and black. This one looks freaking ashy, like it needs lotion. Boom. And boom. Check out that setup though. That looks way better than that freaking ashy one. So this is a part I got from Amazon. It was super affordable, only like 30 bucks. And it's gonna go right here like that. And you'll have to bolt it down here so to hold in place. And see, it has a hose right here. This is gonna go to that one. And I'm not sure, but I think I need to install my intake gasket before I put this on. Let's put this back on right here. Thermal gasket, intake manifold, and then this goes on top of this right here. Check it out. Fuel system is almost complete. The issue right now is this. The fuel pressure regulator used to be mounted like right here, but as you can see, we got this filler neck in the way. Oh man. I'm planning on just installing the fuel pressure regulator onto the side of the fuel rail. I mean, it defeats the purpose. This is exactly what I didn't want. I didn't want this big old gauge just looking at you. But I guess for the sake of getting the engine together and running, I'm gonna mount it right here for now. And maybe later down the road, I could relocate it or maybe just change up the style by getting a different fuel pressure regulator. So with all of the custom lines done, next up, we can focus on the shifter. Woo! Shifter and shifter cables. Now, don't take my word for it, but I'm assuming whatever transmission you're running, you should get the same shifter and shifter cables. So this is a 8th gen Civic Si transmission known as the Z3. So we got the Z3 transmission, Z3 shifter, and Z3 shifter cables. The way this is designed, it's universal fitment. If you look at the OEM Z3 shifter, it has to be mounted in like an angle. See, like that? Maybe a little more flat, but still, you can't just, I can't install this in the Prelude, man. I mean, I probably can, but it's gonna be really weird. So I figured with this K-swap shifter, I think this will be easier to work with. Now this is designed to go under the car and not on top. As usual, nothing really fits perfectly in the Prelude. We're just gonna have to wing it and make it happen. Yeah. On top. Boom. Yo guys, so I put my center console back on and it actually sits pretty perfectly. Like there wasn't really any struggle getting it on. And if you look on the side right here, the mounting hole lines up perfectly and I didn't really have to like wrestle it or nothing. I just put the center console on and there you go. So I guess I can just bolt it from the top, just find some way to mount it on here and we should be good. In guys. All right, the shifter box is pretty much ready to be installed. I got some new hardware that's long enough to bolt this down, but I can't install it just yet because this is meant to be installed underneath the car, right? Well, since it's not underneath the car, I gotta install the shifter cables first because there's a plate down here that you can remove and install the shifter cables. But again, since this is gonna be installed inside, I won't be able to remove this plate to install the cables. Dang. So I'm actually gonna swap this out with the one from the Prelude cables. This is what you gotta deal with a single car garage. You gotta keep moving things around because everything's in the way. Liam. Oh, there's a few brackets on here that I could probably use. Whew. I'm gonna see if I could swap this part over onto here and maybe this to hold the shifter in place.
Gosh, yeah. It's at this random parking lot.
Gonna say it probably goes in this one. This on. not gonna lie, guys, this was a huge headache trying to get installed. But I mean, I'm happy it fits. If you notice, I got the center console installed, and I didn't have to modify it at all. And if you look inside, there's still a lot of room in there, so yeah. But check it out, everything works. But anyways, what was really hard about this install was just trying to get the cables to line up, because once I had them installed and I started moving the shifter and whatnot, it just started to bind, and it was just hard to position it in place to bolt it down. And I had to pull it back out because I had the cables mixed up. All right, I just got everything buttoned up on the Z3 shifter. One thing I want to note that they don't really explain or tell you is on this specific shifter, these cables are gonna overlap each other. So see how they look nice and separate right now? Well, this one is gonna go to the left and this one is gonna go to the right. So underneath the car, they're gonna be overlapped. Boom. See how they both cross each other and then go into the shifter? I thought I messed up, but nope. Hybrid Racing confirmed that this is how it's supposed to be with that specific shifter. I ended up cutting this grommet up top to just take it off the Prelude shifter cables, and I was able to reinstall it on these cables so I could get a nice perfect seal and OEM looking fitment. Yeah.